Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm David, and I'm here with Suresh, and we're going to present the results of the AVA-Kinetics and Active Speaker Challenges as part of the ActivityNet workshop at CVPR 2021. This presentation will start with a short overview of the tasks and an announcement of the winners. And then we're going to have 6 short talks by the winning teams of both the AVA-Kinetics and the active speaker tasks. Now about the task. AVA is a family of video data sets based around the task of recognizing human actions and localizing them in space and time. The 2 tasks we'll be focusing on this year are generic human action detection with AVA-Kinetics and speaker detection with active speaker. I'm going to start by presenting the results for AVA-Kinetics. First, a bit about the AVA-Kinetics task. The original AVA dataset and challenge was to identify 80 basic human actions and to localize them in time and space wherever they appear in the video. AVA is challenging because the task requires correctly identifying potentially multiple people performing multiple actions. Last year, we introduced a larger dataset by applying the dense atomic action labels from AVA to the wide diversity of natural scenes depicted in the well-known kinetics dataset. The resulting dataset, AVA-Kinetics, is much larger with 1.6 times as many annotated frames and over 500 times as many unique videos. The task for the AVA-Kinetics challenge is to localize the 60 most common AVA classes in space and time on the combined AVA-Kinetics test set. The performance metric is the mean average precision evaluated at 0.5 IOU. This year, we had 11 teams participating, making a total of 33 submissions, and improving over last year's winner by about 1 point of mean average precision. And now, on to the winners. In third place, we have the Visual Analysis of Humans team from OPPO Research. In second place, we have the team from FUJITSU Research, improving upon their third place finish in the previous year. And in first place, we have the entry from the Alibaba Group and Tsinghua University. So congratulations. I'd like to point out that members of this team also won the challenge back in 2018. So great work on your repeat performance. And the numbers of the winning teams. So you'll see that the winner here got a combined MAP of 0.4067. And if you look at the breakdown between the numbers on kinetics and the AVA parts of the data, you'll see that the kinetics data set is proving a little bit more challenging than the original AVA data. And then if we compare the entries from last year and previous years, we'll see that this year's winner improved over the previous year's winner, a car, by about 1 point of MAP. And the last year's winner proved a very difficult competitor to overcome, and it still scores second in the overall leaderboard of entrance to the AVA-Kinetics Challenge. So thanks again to all the winners on the AVA-Kinetics Challenge, and I'll pass it over to Suresh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Suresh, and I will start with a brief overview of the active speaker task and then go on to announce the winners. So this data set should be familiar by now, but just to recap quickly, this is our third iteration of the AVA Active Speaker Challenge as a track in the ActivityNet guest workshops. We released this data set as part of the Roth et al. 2019 paper. And the image on the left shows you an example of the richness of conversation in this case in the movies data set, where the bounding boxes and their colors indicate whether a person is speaking or not. So a green bounding box indicates that the person is speaking at a particular time, red indicates that they are not, and yellow indicates that they're speaking, but they're not audible right now. And this hopefully gives you a sense of how rich the conversation dynamics can be in settings that automated computer systems have to deal with. And we have various other visualizations of the label data on the links that are provided here as well. The active speaker detection task at ActivityNet provides a bounding box as input, and the participants are required to determine whether each specified face is speaking or not. They have access to temporal information about the face. There is a face track that is provided, and they can, of course, use any other sources of information from the video. For example, other speakers who may be present in the scene, as well as the audio. The evaluation metric here, again, is MAP, but the bounding boxes are already provided, so we don't have to worry about the overlap or IOU in this case. Quick recap of the dataset sizes. For training, we've released 153 videos with about 3.5 million bounding boxes in total, spanning nearly 40 hours of data. The held out labels come from 109 videos. There's just over 2 million labeled bounding boxes that all the participants provide predictions for as probabilities. And this is used to compute the MAP. All right, so moving on to the results. In third place this year, we have the National University of Singapore. In second place, we have the Technical University of Munich. And in first place, the winner of the 2021 Active Speaker Challenge is the Institute of Computing Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences, collaborating with the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Tomorrow Advancing Life Education Group. Congratulations to all the winners. Quickly summarizing the results this year, the winning entry had an MAP of 0.9344. The second place, Technical University of Munich, came in with 0.9185 and National University of Singapore at 0.9082. And this year in particular has made impressive advances, with the numbers showing an improvement of 5.6% absolute MAP over the previous best result. And this is an almost 50% relative error reduction. They've built on the work from Alcazar et al., who won in 2020 in modeling relationships between speakers, and extended it in exciting creative ways that we'll hear about in the next set of talks in this session. So that wraps up the introduction that David and I wanted to present here. There's obviously much more information on the ActivityNet website. The AVA website link is also here. Up next, we'll hear from the top 3 teams for both tasks. These are guest talks, 8 minutes each, and we're looking forward to hearing all the exciting things that they've been up to in getting to the winners' slots in this challenge. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yutong Feng from Tsinghua University at Alibaba Group. Today, I'm very glad to share our first place solution to the AVA-Kinetics Crossover Challenge 2021, which is named as Relation Modeling in Spatial Temporal Action Localization. I will present our solution in 4 parts: an overview of this challenge, our design pipeline, details of methods and experimental analysis, and the conclusion. First is the overview. The task of AVA-Kinetics Challenge is to recognize and localize atomic actions in both spatial and temporal dimensions. The predicted results are given by labeled bounding boxes and 1 FPS. There are 80 classes containing 14 post classes, 17 person interaction classes, and 49 object interaction classes. Besides, the challenge is a crossover of 2 different datasets, AVA and Kinetics. AVA contains long moving videos, while Kinetics contains short daily videos collected from YouTube, and the 2 datasets are in different scales. Also, from the official report, we know that the distributions of categories of AVA and kinetics are also different. Then I will present our pipeline. Our pipeline contains 4 parts. Person detection. Given the input video clip, we firstly select the keyframe and apply a person detector to generate bounding boxes of people. At the same time, a video backbone is used to extract video features. Then, we pull the person features, and the relation modeling model is applied to learn the relations among people in the same video. And finally, we predict actions of each person based on their learned features. Now, I will introduce details of our method together with experimental analysis. First is the person detection. We use G-Focal V2 as a 2D detector. We developed 3 versions of trained detectors, and in this table, we show the influence of person detection. Taking kinetics, for example, with increasing of detection results, the final results obtain significant improvement, and we see each version introduce about 1 MAP for action detection. Also, we apply the ground truth bounding boxes. The final results achieve improvements of 7 and 13 MAP for AVA and kinetics respectively. We show that the person detection is still a bottleneck for this challenge. Then for the video feature extraction, we use video backbones to generate 3D feature maps. In our solution, we mainly use 2 backbones, the slow-fast model using different FPS to model actions, and the CSN, Channel Separated Network, a strong CNN model to obtain video representations. All the video backbones are pre-trained on Kinetics 700 dataset for better representation. Then the relation modeling is the main part of our pipeline. We first pull person features with the inflated 2D bounding boxes on the 3D feature map by ROI align. The pulled person features are further fused together with the video feature map via channel-wise concatenation and convolution layers. To model hidden relations among persons inside the same video clip for improving the effectiveness of action prediction, we fed the person features into our relation modeling model with transformer-based blocks. To specify the spatial and temporal relations, we select features along the same spatial or temporal dimension from different persons and are named as S-only and T-only. The selected features are flattened into a sequence of tokens and fed into a transformer encoder block to model their relations via attention mechanism. And it is noted that the weights of transformers share the same weights of all sequences of positions. We also adapt the memory bank for using long-term features in relation modeling. The original memory bank is maintained online during the training stage. However, since videos in kinetics are not densely annotated, which means only 1 clip is labeled for each video. Thus, maintaining memory bank for kinetics in the training stage will be more challengeable for computation cost and memory usage. To address this problem, we propose a 2-stage solution which combines online and offline strategies. In the first stage, we either train only on AVA or ignore the back of kinetics. Then for the memory features are pulled offline for kinetics. And we fine-tune the model in the second stage with frozen memory bank. Results in this table show better performance of our method, and it is better to train on both AVA and kinetics in the 2 stages. Finally, we present our action prediction. First, for different types of actions, we use softmax loss function for single class of poses and single-mode loss function for multiple class of person and object interactions. Then for long-tail distribution of AVA kinetics, we use a decoupled training strategy, which contains a representation learning stage in normal way and a classifier learning stage with class-balanced sampling. From the table, it is shown that The small classes in bottom 20 classes achieved improvement of 1 MAP, and in the meanwhile, the results of the top 20 classes almost do not drop. We show our final results, comparing results with different backbones, relation heads, pre-trained datasets, input frames, and memory banks. We assemble 15 models with average voting and achieves 40.97 MAP on the validation set and 40.67 on the test set, which shows less overfitting on the validation. And in conclusion, we reach a higher performance on AVA-Kinetics with both single and assembled model. For the future directions to further improve the result, we could improve the referred bottleneck person detection and take a deep study on the long-tailed learning of this challenge. And that's all of my presentation. Welcome to visit the webpage of our lab. The action recognition models have been implemented on our machine learning system. Welcome to experience. And thanks for listening. Please feel free to contact us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Xiantan Zhu. I'm from Fujitsu company. It's my honor to introduce my report about spatial temporal localization, the challenge 1, AVA-Kinetics crossover. My report topic is context filter for action localization. Next, I will introduce my report from 3 aspects. First, overview the task. Second, introduce details of our solution. Third, give out our experiments. Now I will overview the task. This is a spatial temporal action localization task. The challenge name is AVA and Kinetics Crossover Challenge 20 and 21. It is to localize the portion in time and space. There are 3 kinds of action: pose, person-to-object, and person-to-person interaction. In the finger, sit is pose, right, drive are person-to-object interaction, listen to, talk to are person-to-person action. Next, I will introduce the details of our solution. This page shows our solution. What is the context filter? The filter is pulled from the output of 3D CNN. Why we use context filter? For some complex case, we need more filter for classification. Not only person-object filter, but context filter. For example, in the finger, the woman is swimming in the sea. RFB method just use person filter, output the pose as stand. For alpha action, it uses person filter and object filter. It also output her pose as stand. So we take the context filter into account. Here the context filter is water. We output her pose as swimming, not stand. This part shows our baseline model. Because alpha action has achieved the state-of-the-art performance, about 32.42 MAP on the AVA validation dataset. We take it as our baseline model. The finger shows the pipeline of it. First, do person detection and object detection on the keyframe. Second, crop person filter and object filter from the output of 3D CNN. Then, do POM interaction aggregation to enhance the person filter. Finally, the output I structure is passed to the final classifier for predictions. This part shows our solution 1, PCM, P, O plus AM. First, we always pull the output of 3D CNN to get the context filter. Then, we do POMC interaction aggregation to enhance the portion filter like alpha-axin. Besides, we found that adding context filter to every object filter can also improve the performance. This part shows our solution to crop portion filter like RCN. We adopt alpha-axin as our baseline. We are inspired by RCN method that here revolution of actor contributed to better performance. So we cropped the replicated portion patch from original video and reset to a fixed resolution. In detail, we don't get the portion filter from ROI pooling. Based on detection result, we cropped and reset portion patch. Then take them as the input of 3D CNN and average pooling them on special dimension. Next, I will introduce our experiments. This page shows how to fuse context filter into POM. First, we built a mini AV dataset for a quick experiment, which contains 1/3 keyframe of each video. We can see from the table, when replace the object filter with context filter, it can speed up the convergence without lower too much MAP. Also, we can see the original method can be improved by 1.1 MAP with PCM-POM structure. This page shows our experiments about enhanced object filter with context filter. From the table, we can see with enhanced filter, the MAP get about 0.21 and 0.74 gains onto dataset than the original model. This page shows our result of cropping portion filter like RCN. We select 3 classes which are improved most. So in the table, drink, smoke, write. From the table, we can see drink is improved by 0.1253 than our best result. The last page shows our fusion and final submission. We fuse 2 models with mean method. The first model PCM, PO plus CM. The second model POM with RCN method. After fusing, we got 36.25 MAP, which gets 2.05 gains than the better one. For final submission, we trained with AVA and Kinetics Tsinghua dataset, tested on 3 scales and flipping. Our final result is 37.43 MAP on the test set and ranking second in this task. Okay, that's all. Thanks for your watching.
Hello everyone, we are the team Visual Analysis of Humans. I'm Shiming Chen. Our members have Wei Li, Chen Chen, Xunqiang Tao, Yandong Guo. Next, we will describe our solution to this spatial temporal action localization task. We will expand the discussion from the following parts. With the development of Internet, tons of videos are continuously generated in video content platforms, showing that video understanding becomes more and more indispensable. To further analyze the video content, we still need to get actions and positions of each person in clips. This task is intended to evaluate the ability of methods to localize human actions in space and time. Below is our solution to it. In our approach, we use an open source toolbox Alpha Action as baseline. In addition, we have two major contributions. The first, we innovatively proposed a new end-to-end network, which fuse pose features with person features in an atomic clip to classify actions. On the other hand, we proposed a new interaction block cube fusion. The framework of our approach is shown in Figure 1. A detector is applied to get person boxes every second, and we set the boxes in center frame as final boxes in this clip. We use slow fast network as backbone to extract features and perform ROI align layer to clock features. Particularly, we performed our new interaction block to fuse person features, object features, and memory features, generating final global reasoning features. What's more, we have another parse which applies pose information to get part features. This parse will be described in the following slides. Finally, we concatenate part reasoning features and global reasoning features as fuse features. Fully connected layer is applied in both to predict actions. Post-part network is a new end-to-end network. Firstly, we split the person area into 10 parts based on pose information. As shown in photos above, many actions are only related to several parts of the person. Like pull down is closely related to hands, playing ball is closely related to hands and feet. By learning the relationship between body part and other subjects in clip, we can get at the actions of person with more sufficient information. As shown in Figure 3, we concatenate person features and object features, then perform an interaction reasoning block to handle the relationship between concatenated features and 10 body part features. The interaction reasoning block is improved from the local block. Next, we use a SE block to learn the most important part feature, which has incorporated features of other body parts. In this way, the post-part network has fully learned the relationship in this clip and will not increase network complexity largely. We proposed a new interaction block named as Cube Fusion, as shown in Figure 4. O present object features, P present person features, and M is memory features. We conduct a cube for information circulation. In this framework, there are several paths to interact with them. We also add skip layers to prevent model degradation. In short, the method we proposed is a very effective interaction block to learn in relationships between person and other subjects in clips. Now, I will show our experiment results. In Double 1, we compare our model with baseline in AVA dataset. We train our model only with AVA trained data, and we can see Cube Fusion block upgrade 0.25% in MAP. In Table 2, train our model with AVA and kinetics datasets. Both models are equipped with the Cube Fusion block To compare the ability in classifying actions, we use ground truth bounding boxes directly. Post-part network improves the performance by 1.56% in MAP. Next, my partner Wei Li will introduce the details of the experiment.
Okay, my name is Wei Li. I will introduce more details about experiments. We extract 1 second video clips and keyframes from raw Kinetics 10-second movies. Each video clips lasts 1 second and ranges from second 0 to 9. The first frame of each video clip is extracted as keyframe, which is used to detect persons and objects and estimate pose of persons, which follows the definition in AVA dataset. In detection and pose process, we first use detection ResNet 101 model on AVA, while D8 detection model on Kinetics. Then an alpha pose model is used to estimate person pose. Considering that there are 33% clips without ground truth annotations in Kinetics dataset, during the inference phase, we screened out some negative samples. The details of detection model, pose estimate model, and the deleted boxes are as follows. The MAP of 2 detection model are 53.9% and 41.2%, and that of pose model is 73.3%. And the negative samples, such as the detection box, is too small, the boxes without face, and only part of face appeared boxes, and so on, are shown in this slide too. Finally, in the future, we mainly have 2 works to do. One is add memory features in the Kinetics dataset, and the other is to further fine-tune the detection model on Kinetics for higher precision. That's all. Thanks for your listening.
Hi, I'm Yuan Hang, and in this video, I'm glad to present you our team's first place solution to this year's AVA Active Speaker Detection Challenge. This is a joint work with Susan, Shuang, Xiao, Zhongqin, and Shiguang. Our team members come from Institute of Computing Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences, University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the Tomorrow Advancing Life Education Group. The active speaker detection task aims to determine when each visible person in the video is speaking by analyzing audio and visual signals. There are 2 predominant approaches. The supervised approach formulates the task as a frame-wise binary classification problem, while the unsupervised approach uses synchronization or clustering methods to establish correspondence between the voice and the speaking phase. However, these methods tend to overlook the abundant context information in the videos. As a result, they are often not robust enough in challenging scenarios with low-resolution faces and multiple candidate speakers. One interesting previous work, and also last year's winning solution, is the active speakers in context model, which combines audio-visual features from adjacent time intervals and other candidates in the scene to improve local predictions. However, this method still focuses on optimizing each candidate separately. Our submission to this year's AVA Speaker Challenge is based on a novel Unified Context Network, or UNICON, which leverages multiple sources of contextual information to analyze all speaker candidates simultaneously. Here, we first provide a brief recap of the UNICON model. First, the scale and position of the candidates' faces are introduced as global spatial context to complement facial information and help identify the relationships among the speakers. Each candidate is then contrasted with others from both visual and audio-visual perspectives. Temporal context is incorporated to further improve temporal consistency and robustness. Based on the aggregated contextual features, speaker activity predictions for all candidates are generated simultaneously using a shared prediction layer. Specifically, in Unicon, face positions and sizes of all candidates are encoded as 64 by 64 maps of 2D Gaussians. These maps are then color-coded to indicate the relationships between the candidates and embedded with a convolutional encoder, resulting in each candidate's spatial context. The relational context component then takes the initial features and refines them by considering the relationships between the candidates from visual and audio-visual perspectives. For visual relational context, it uses a permutation equivariant layer to aggregate each candidate's local activity and the person's pairwise interactions with other candidates in the scene. For audio-visual relational context, each candidate's audio-visual affinity features are contrasted with the global maximum, and non-active candidates are suppressed. In the process, BiGRUs are used to provide the necessary temporal context. We now describe the changes we made, which leads to the new extended Unicon used in our final submission. First, the original Unicon uses 13-dimensional Mel frequency capstone coefficients as the acoustic representation. We replaced them with 80-dimensional log-Mel spectrograms, which contain richer acoustic information. In addition, we apply spec augment during training to increase our model's robustness to noise. Next, we focus on improving the temporal modeling architectures in Unicon. The original Unicon uses BiGRUs for temporal context. In this work, we use the recently proposed convolution augmented transformer, or conformer blocks, instead. By combining convolutions with multi-head self-attention, it has a higher capacity and eventually leads to better generalization. We also use longer training samples to better capture long-term dependencies and speaker alternation patterns. Finally, the original Unicon applies an auxiliary voice activity prediction layer on the initial audio features, which led to severe overfitting in the later stages of training. We replace it with a new auxiliary speaker activity prediction layer after the contextual audio-visual features. This resolves the overfitting problem and leads to a unified loss formulation throughout training. We now present our final results. For this year's challenge, we made 3 submissions to the ActivityNet server. The first one is based on the original Unicon, which scores 90.7% MAP. Our new extended Unicon performs much better and scores 93.3%. Finally, our last submission ensembles the logics from conformer and temporal convolution-based backends. It scores 93.4% and ranks first on this year's leaderboard. Remarkably, none of these submissions used any form of pre-training. Here is a comparison of our model with previous methods. As we can see, our extended Unicon model outperforms the previous state-of-the-art by a large margin. Thanks for watching, and please remember to check our site for models and future updates.
Hello everyone, I am Okan Köpüklü from Technical University of Munich. This is the AST.NET submission to the ActivityNet Challenge 2021 for the task Active Speaker Detection. For audiovisual active speaker detection task, speech needs to be detected and assigned to one of possibly multiple active speakers at each instant in time. We work on AVA active speaker dataset where frame level annotations are provided. Official metric of mean average precision is used for evaluations. We propose a 3-stage architecture for audiovisual active speaker task. At the initial stage, audio features and video features for each person in the video clip are extracted. Then we have interspeaker relation modeling stage, where we try to capture complementary information from background speakers and use it together with reference speakers features. For example, if one of the background speakers is talking, most probably reference speaker is not talking, or vice versa. At the final stage, we apply temporal modeling because speaking is a coherent action in time. In other words, if a person is speaking in previous time instance or future time instance, it's likely that the person is also speaking at the current time instant. Here is a more detailed view of the AST.NET architecture. Now, I will briefly mention each stage. First, we extract audio and video features of each speaker in the given input clip. We have experimented with several audio and video backbones. Different from majority of previous works, we extracted audio features directly from raw audio. In audio backbone, we use sync convolutions together with depth-wise separable convolutions. We refer to this audio backbone as SyncDSNet. For video backbone, we have experimented with various 3D CNN architectures, which always show superior results compared to 2D CNN architectures. We choose 3D ResNext 101 as final video backbone. Once the audio and video backbones are trained, we extract all the features for each speaker in the AVA active speaker dataset. Later stages of AST.NET are trained jointly using these features. For the inter-speaker relation modeling stage, we leverage background speakers features that are complementary to the reference speakers features. We propose a simple yet effective method for this. For a preset number of background speakers, we concatenate each speaker's features and pass it through a single layer MLP. If there is more than n speakers at that time instant, we randomly select n of them. If there is less than n speakers, we use a vector populated with zeros for the missing speakers. After extracting background features, we append it to the reference speakers features. Finally, we apply temporal modeling stage. We experimented with several RNNs for this stage. As a final decision, we use two-layer bidirectional GRU for temporal modeling. For the results, we first look at the contribution of each component to the final performance at table 1. Initially, we used only video features of the reference speaker, which achieves 78.8 MAP. Then we use only audio features, which achieves 49.3 MAP. This performance drop is natural because if there are more than one person in the video, prediction of the active speaker becomes a random guess. In the next experiment, we used both audio and video features, which achieves 88.9 MAP. We would like to highlight that this result is higher than any previous state-of-the-art approaches, showing the importance of correct backbone selection. And we have not applied second and third stages of AST.NET yet. Then we introduce temporal modeling to audio and video features, which achieves 92.6 MAP. If ISRM is used with audio and video features, 89.6 MAP is achieved. If ISRM and temporal modeling is applied together to the audio and video features, best performance of 93.5 MAP is achieved. We want to highlight experiments 6 and 7 in table 1. For these experiments, we have not used reference speakers video features and tried to predict if reference speaker is talking by looking at the background speakers only. For these experiments, we achieved 64.5 and 67.8 MAP with and without temporal modeling, showing the importance of the information extracted from background speakers. Next, we check the effect of encoder clip length to the final performance in table 1. Although 16 frame clip length brings a 2.2 MAP improvement at the feature extraction stage, this corresponds to only 0.1 MAP improvement at the final performance. This is because increased clip length brings more temporal information, which could have been already captured at the temporal modeling stage. Finally, we check if the order of ISRM and temporal modeling stages can be exchanged in table 3. There is not a big difference in performance if temporal modeling stage is applied first. We now compare AST.NET with the state-of-the-art approaches at table 4. AST.NET outperforms the second best approach by 4.7 MAP on the validation set and 4.1 MAP on the test set of AVA active speaker dataset. We also compare the performance of AST.NET by phase size at Table 5. AST.NET outperforms all other state-of-the-art methods for all different phase sizes. Superiority of AST.NET becomes more significant for smaller phases. Increased number of phases makes the active speaker detection task more challenging and the performance of ISRM becomes more critical. AST.NET outperforms all other state-of-the-art methods for all different phase numbers as shown in Table 6. Superiority of AST.NET becomes more significant as the number of phases increases. For the conclusion, a three-stage architecture AST.NET is proposed for audiovisual active speaker detection task. Each stage of AST.NET is investigated and justified with detailed ablation studies. AST.NET improves the state-of-the-art by 4.7 MAP and 4.1 MAP on validation and test set of AVA active speaker datasets, respectively. Presented results can be improved by leveraging deeper and wider feature extractors and optical flow modality. For more detailed explanation of the AST.NET, you can refer to the paper How to Design a Three-Stage Architecture for Audiovisual Active Speaker Detection in the Wild. For the implementation, you can refer to okankop/AST.NET GitHub page. Thank you for your attention.
Hello everyone, I'm glad to do this presentation for our team. Our team is National University of Singapore, HLT group, and my name is Rizet Tao. Here is our author list, and I do this presentation today. So for the active speaker detection, the traditional method is use a short-term method, which means when we get a few seconds of face video, we do a splitting process to get many short segments. Then for each short segment, like 200 milliseconds, we use the audio and visual encoder to get one audio embedding and visual embedding. Then combine these two embedding to a binary classification. The final output is one single ASD score for this short segment to present the information in this very short segment. Later, there is a smoothing method for the final score lists or the score sequence. The problems in this short-term method is, can we learn meaningful ASD information from such a short segment? We give an example. Here is a 200 millisecond video segment. We find that it is actually very challenging to know whether she is speaking or not in such limited information, no matter from the audio and the visual. However, for a 2-second video, it is clear to know when she started to speak, when she did not speak. The reason is that for the human, actually we do not judge whether these people is speaking or not based on a very short segment. We judge it based on the internal sentence, a few words. So if you use very short segment, it might not include any words. You cannot do this judgment. So based on that, our model is used to explore long-term feature for the active speaker detection. We name it TalkNet. That is an end-to-end model. What we did is that we did not use any split process. When we input one video, we feed all the video into the audio and visual encoder to get the final output. So for instance, when we get this video, for the visual part, our visual temporal encoder can get this FV. This FV is a visual feature sequence. The model is learned from the audio-visual speech recognition. And for the audio, similarly, we use a ResNet structure learned from the speaker recognition to get this FA. This FV and FA, they are all the embedding sequence instead of the single embedding, which means the length of this embedding sequence is equal to the number of video frames in this video. The reason is that we have the specific parameter setting in these two encoders. So based on that, we use these two embedding sequence to do the cross attention to learn the modality interaction between these two modalities. And it can also do the modality alignment. After that, in order to learn the temporal information in the whole video, we use a self-attention model. This model is similar to this cross-attention. So the final output is the audio-visual embedding sequence. This sequence has the same length of the number of video frames, which means for each video frame, we extract an audio-visual embedding, and this embedding has learned the information in the whole video, so that can achieve our goal to extract the long-term temporal information. So based on that, we do the final ASD predictions. The final output is the ASD score sequence, video frame by frame. So here is the result. We find that our method can get to 92.3 MAP in the AVA validation set and get 90.8 MAP in the test set. That can improve. That result is better than the state-of-art result. And then we also do some ablation study. Firstly, we learn whether our model can benefit from the long-term information. We keep our model and we change the length of the input videos. If we still use the separated process to separate all the videos into the short segment, we find that the performance is very worse. And when we increase the number of the input video frames, our result can improve a lot. So that means our TalkNet is actually benefit from the long-term temporal information. That is what we want in this task. And then secondly is that whether the cross-attention and self-attention is useful. When we remove these two parts, the performance will drop. And when we add these two parts, it can increase very obviously. So that means the modality interaction between the audio and visual is important. And to learn the temporal information between the different frames and their interaction is also important. And here, this study, because in this study we use the audio augmentation method. Traditional method usually only do the visual augmentation, but we think the audio augmentation is also important. So the first line is the result without any augmentation, and the second line is the result with the traditional audio augmentation method in speaker recognition, which means you prepare some additional data, some additional noisy data, and add it to the original data to the augmentation. And the last one is our post-active sampling method, which means use the audio in AVA itself as the noisy to the augmentation. That method do not use any additional method. We find that these two augmentation methods are all important to improve the performance. So here are some other issues. Firstly is that our model can train very fast. It only needs 7 hours in one 22G GPU. And apart from that, our model did not use any pre-trained model and did not consider the relationship between the speaker pairs at the same time. The previous study has proved that these two facts can also improve the performance. So we think if we add these 2 points in our model, our improvement can improve further. So that can be used for the future work. And apart from that, we will release the code model and logs for our TalkNet in GitHub next month. The code will include the details of the pre-process for the AVA dataset and the whole training and validation part. Also, we will include a demo script to do active speaker detection for any video, because we know that AVA already provided the face detection method. It has even if the face tracks bounding box. So for the video without that, for the video not in AVA, we need to provide the process like the face detection, screen detection, and face tracking. So for instance, we give a demo for a video not in AVA, and our model can extract who is speaking with the green box and who is not speaking with the red box. Here is a demo.
Have water in your mouth. 2 people have water in their mouths, and one person has to play a bunch of funny videos, and you have to try to like not laugh. And when you laugh, you have to spit it at the other person. So let's just get right into this video.
So in this demo, you can find that there are many noisy and there are multiple faces on the screen. So that's a challenge condition, and our model can also deal with it. So our conclusion in this task is that we found the long-term temporal context is important for active speaker detection, and the modality interaction is also important, and the audio augmentation can improve the performance. So that's all. Thanks a lot.